So I went to Pride this past weekend, a pretty small Pride at that. It was Kenosha, not a very large city in my state, but a decent sized city. And they do run their own Pride. And something happened that I want to make sure and talk about because it really has been on my mind the last few days. So at Kenosha's Pride, there were two stages. One was under this huge tent, and there were a lot of tables and chairs set up. So I sat down for a little while to get out of the sun, for one thing, because it was very hot out, but also because I've got a couple of friends who were playing at Pokemon Go Fest in New York City at the same time. They were sending me some raid invites. So I wanted to just sit down, catch up on those raids, and just have a few minutes to decompress. I've also been recording a vlog while I was at Pride that I'll be posting in a few days on this channel. So keep an eye out for that. But this is something that isn't going to be making that vlog because it's something that I wasn't even thinking about recording. I didn't expect it to be such a pivotal moment that I would wind up reflecting on for days. But as I'm sitting there at this table, it's just me. This grandmother and her grandchild walked up and asked if they could sit. I was just playing Pokemon. I didn't care. Yeah, absolutely. There's open space. It's hot out. By all means, have a seat. So the grandchild starts talking to the grandmother about inclusivity at Pride and how there's so many groups that are discriminated against in the queer community. At the time, I'm sitting across the table from them and I'm wearing my ACE flag. And the young person looks up and sees my ACE flag and goes, asexual people like that flag that he's wearing, they experience a lot too, and people don't even realize it. And it's rare. I don't think it's ever actually happened that in front of me, non-ACE people, allo people, had a conversation about the discrimination that asexual folks face. And I've never found an opportunity to jump into a conversation that was already happening before. This was happening right before my eyes because of the flag I was wearing. So I did chime in. I told them there's a lot of things that are going on because, yeah, people do think that they're faking. If you aren't ACE, you might think that an ACE person is faking that for attention, which is actually, really, I was just confirming what the grandmother had just asked of the young person. Is it because they're faking or they think that they're faking? And then I started talking about some of the other issues, even within the queer community, how there's a lot of debate over should aces and arrows be a part of Pride? Are they a part of the LGBTQ community? Which they absolutely are. We absolutely are a part of that community. Our experiences are not what is the heteronormative societal expectation, just like all these other queer identities. That is why we belong, because we don't subscribe to the heteronormative structure, the heteronormative script. That's what makes us queer. So when we were having that conversation, I also talked about a certain activist who has done so much for the ACE community, and I think a lot of people know probably already who I'm talking about, who has given so much of herself to the progress of asexuality and of the ACE community. And yet still, because of insecurities from other people, because of who she is, because of her career, because of how she dresses, because of the music she listens to, all these things that people perceive about her without actually knowing the first thing about her, and it all circles back. All these things that they say about her, and all these things that people perceive about her are their problems, not hers. Just like anything that somebody perceives about me as an ace person, that's not my problem. That's their problem to sort through. They're perceiving me incorrectly without asking me or getting to know me. And I realize, looking back on that conversation, how perceptive the two people sitting across the table from me were as I was talking. They were actually taking this in and thinking about it. And we don't have a lot of opportunities like that. We talk a lot about visibility and why visibility is important. And this was a moment where it's not just that my ace flag was visible. It was the words that came with it. It was, here's an ace person. Here's an ace person's face talking directly to you, having this conversation. We don't recognize how many people would be on our side on these issues and would agree with us if we don't bring them forward. And this is why not just visibility, but action are important. Having a dialogue are important, because there's a lot of people that don't even recognize that these things are happening. So I'm grateful that I had to have that conversation, that I had the opportunity to have that conversation. And I think we should have more. That's what I've been thinking about, and that's what I wanted to say. Like I said, I didn't record that. It wasn't a moment that I felt needed to be recorded. The rest of my experience, the vlog that I put together for it, will be out on Wednesday, but this was just something I wanted to say and engage with the community. And I just think that it's so important that we have these conversations and continue to have these conversations. Anyway, I didn't really plan how I was even going to say this, so I probably am rambling at this point. But anyways, thank you to everyone who does engage in these conversations, everyone who fights back against all of the issues that are going on in our community. We have a very big racism issue going on in our community, from people not just outside of the LGBTQ plus community, not just people inside the LGBTQ plus community, but even people in the asexual community. That's something that we need to address. That's something we need to talk more about. There's a lot of issues about people not understanding what asexuality is. That's why I make my videos, is to help people understand what it is, so that there's more understanding and people are more willing to have conversations about it once they understand it. So please continue your conversations. Is there a conversation you think we should be having? Put it in the comments. I want to know, because I want to have those conversations too. And don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe for more Aro and Ace content so we can keep these conversations going.